guys, this is Taylor with Farmhand Flower Company. Today we have been working on our flower boxes behind me. During the week we purchased quite a bit of the rudbeckia plant. We bought about 8 rudbeckia. Let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, we planted about 8 rudbeckia, and then we've also planted quite a few of our peony plants that we purchased this week too. We found the rudbeckia and the peony plants all on clearance. Like Manuel said before in the past, if you can find things that are on clearance, if they're still in decent condition, they have a chance to really sprout maybe a couple of blooms this season, and then in the coming season, hopefully if you've taken good care of them, they'll definitely come back around next year and look even better than they did when you bought them. So anyway, we have about 9 peony plants. If you don't know much about peonies, they take quite some time for their very first bloom to actually happen. You'll be lucky after the first couple of years if you have some small blooms. The ones that we have here, obviously they did not bloom this year before we purchased them. Maybe they'll bloom next year if we take good care of them. So fingers crossed things go well with these. The ones that we purchased are part sun. So we moved quickly on this purchase. We knew that they were a really good deal when we got them. And so in the mix of getting excited about purchasing these, we didn't realize that they, like I said, were part sun. Out here, it's basically full sun at all times until the sun, like it is now, goes over the hedgerow behind me. So what we're going to need to do here in a couple of days, we'll have to come back and maybe we can give you an update, but we're going to have to build some kind of mechanism to cover those peony plants. Otherwise, they will just burn to a crisp over the remainder of the summer. And some of you may have had peonies before that were in full sun, and if you have and they've done well, let us know. The ones that we have here are, Manuel, what are the 2 peony plants that we have here? One is, I believe, the sorbet. One of the 8 is the sorbet. The other is...
Show them the tags.
One is the Sarah Bernhardt peonies. So if you've had Sarah Bernhardt before, let us know. You can see how much we got them for. But we got them for $5. I don't know if you guys can see that. Pretty good deal considering that they were 13 bucks, you know. The other one is called sorbet peony as well. I think it's gonna be backwards when you guys see this, so I'm sorry. But anyway, we have those 2 that we are just finishing up with planting. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what these plants look like. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how the ones that we planted last week are looking. Last week we planted quite a bit of echinacea, and we planted 2 cosmos, which actually have been doing really good. This whole week I thought the cosmos were gonna be a loss, just because I know it was really hot, but luckily we had some rain to kind of help us out. Here in the future, hopefully next week, I'm going to be working on putting in an irrigation system over here that will give water to all of these areas so we don't have to worry so much about whether or not it's going to rain during the week. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how these plants are looking here, and then I'll show you how our large crop is looking with the pumpkins that we have. We have quite a few pumpkins coming in, as well as the huge sunflowers that we've got. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the echinacea that we planted just the other day. This would have been last week. The echinacea that we've got are looking pretty good. Aside from the dead plants that are on there, they are still, as a whole plant, looking pretty okay. Like I said, the rain that we had earlier this week really did help out. Here is the tag for the echinacea that we purchased, or the cone flower. Yes, okay, so color-coded yellow my darling is the name of this one. Some people are really crazy about the cute names that plants have. I like the scientific names. Over here next door, Manuel did a lot of work on getting these set up. We had to get posts on them because they were falling over each other when we found them, but they're really, really pretty. Here's the tag on what are some of these here. The rudbeckia, this is the Cherokee Sunset rudbeckia. And what's interesting about these is that a lot of these rudbeckia are very different, but they're the same plant. We even checked at the store about why they look so different. I guess they're just different varieties of the same type of rudbeckia, but the ones that Manuel loves the most and the ones we're excited to put into some bouquets are definitely these here. Isn't that color just so beautiful? It's like a burgundy. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty in the shot there. The burgundy is just amazing. And then of course there are some as well that are like a mix. Isn't that beautiful? So those there we got, of course, the peonies. There's nothing to look at in means of flowers. However, we've got quite a few here that are the plants. Altogether, there's about 14 tubers, I think, but there's nine planted together throughout the box. And then I'll show you guys the pumpkins that we've got next door here. Gonna see if I can find you guys a big pumpkin. I know for sure there's a pumpkin right here. That's not one of the biggest I've seen, but just to be quick, here is one of them that's growing so far. Look how big it is. These are going to be the really big pumpkins once they're up. Once they're up and growing. The sunflowers, which are over here in the distance, are going to be really pretty too. And we've got one blooming as we speak right now. So I'm going to show you guys some of the big sunflowers that we've got. They are falling over currently. We've got them in mounds, and we, of course, with this whole process, we're learning things as we go when it comes to our mistakes, so that next year we'll do better. Don't plant sunflowers in high mounded gardens, because they will fall over, and that's what we're learning. They're not deep enough, and when the wind blows them, they're turning. But the thing about sunflowers is they're just so, they really push through. They really make it. They're resilient. I think a couple of times have been almost knocked over, and they've still found their way back up. Look at this bloom here. Isn't it pretty? It's gonna be a big one. This plant is actually as tall as I am. Looking at it and standing next to it, it's pretty huge. Let me show you some of the others that are over here. Behind me, you can see how tall these are. Those are going to be some big boys too, so we'll have a couple sunflowers here shortly. I showed you guys in the last video that we had a path here. That is definitely gone. We do not have a path anymore. I could try to walk through, and I'll probably hurt quite a few stems going in, but that's just how it's going to have to be. These are definitely plants that need to stem out. That way they can find some ground to continue to grow, and they grew right over the path. So that is no longer going to be a path for us, but a good place for a lot more of our gourds and pumpkins.